a notification.
Yeah.
Recording.
Yes, sir.
Works both. Okay. So I was reading your biography that you have on your website. And so you were born in Springfield, Tennessee, and moved to North Carolina.
Yeah.
What town did you move to in North Carolina?
So it's the town of Wake Forest. Everybody gets confused with Wake Forest University, but it's actually just north of Raleigh, about probably 35 minutes. But it's where the university originated before it moved to Winston-Salem. So it's not as small as it used to be, but it's still kind of a small town, little suburb outside of Raleigh.
So about how far from downtown Raleigh would it be?
Probably 20 miles. So I'd say 40 minutes.
Not bad.
Yeah, I know.
And I was reading into more of your biography, and it said your dad was a musician, correct?
Yeah.
And it said you recorded a family album with your family when you were younger?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that available anywhere that we could
find? It is. It's actually on Spotify. Yeah, if you look up Wood Family Studio Sessions.
Wood Family Studio Sessions.
You can even find it on YouTube. But this was back before I even started singing. I didn't sing until I was realistically probably 16, 17. So all of the videos on YouTube of all the recordings are me playing like the guitar, and back when I wanted to be a lead guitar player. Yeah. But still videos of me when I was like 12 years old with my family and stuff. So it's pretty cool to have.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I've been hoping that was somewhere online that I could find.
Yeah.
It's something really interesting. Well, I got into you, I think it was right when From Where I'm From, the EP came out.
Yeah.
I think I saw a post of yours on, I think it was you covering Tim McGraw's Don't Take the Girl on my For You page on Instagram. And so I clicked on your page and just kind of started going through and then looked you up on Apple Music. And I really liked that first EP.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I got into you. And then I started listening. And then, what was it? Drop On By came out in, what was it, December, November?
Yeah, so the single was November, and then we released the EP in December, just a month later.
Yeah, okay. So that was great. I loved Brooks and Done Me Wrong. I thought that was some wordplay. It reminded me of Hardy's Redneck Tendencies. Because it had that subtle name dropping in there that I really liked about it. So I wanted to ask like a little bit how you got into country music and who were your influences when you were trying to decide that you wanted to be a country musician.
Yeah, so growing up, being born in Nashville, I grew up in the industry in a sense. My dad worked for a gospel record label back in the day, and when he got out of that, he went into touring as a country artist, and we just grew up, with the country radio on. So back in the 90s, I was born in 97, so I didn't, live in the 90s very much. But I remember my dad, buying CDs and playing CDs, all day. So if we weren't listening to something on the radio that was country, he would put in a CD, whether it be, George Jones, George Strait, or, his favorite was Ronnie Millsap. So it was something I grew up with, but it wasn't necessarily something I was forced to like. And I kind of ventured out of country for a little bit and, grew up to like 70s rock and 80s rock and, even to like Chicago, like, stuff that you don't, really hear of anymore. But mostly it was, me turning into, really loving the roots of country and, going back to it myself. I mean, what's crazy is for as long as I remember, we've always had Spotify. I mean, I'm only 22, so I haven't, been here long enough to have to go out and buy a CD or, buy it on iTunes. So we've always had Spotify where you can look up anything. And that's when I really started listening and finding my own stuff that I liked back in the 90s and the 80s. And, I still listen to rock here and there, but if I do, it's going to be like 80s rock and, not so much of the newer stuff. But I think I grew up with the appreciation of good music and good talent, and good songwriting. So, and I'm a word guy, so that's why I think I love country music, is the stories.
Playing stories and whatnot.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it too.
So
yeah, I kind of grew up the same way. When I was younger, I listened to classic rock, so 60s, 70s, 80s. I loved Eric Clapton, stuff like that. I loved guitar work when I was younger. And then, as I kind of got older, I liked more, wordplay. And that's kind of what got me into country, the good writing and the good storytelling. That's really what I became interested in. And that's how I started to, become so fascinated with country music.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's what country music has always been known for. And I think that's why in today's genre, people have been kind of become bitter because we've kind of drifted away. I don't think today's music is a very storytelling atmosphere, but, I think we still have roots in it. And, with like Eric Church's new stuff and, especially like John Party's new record. I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
oh yeah, that was my favorite album of the past year.
It just went #1, and it's been the countryest thing that we've heard, in my opinion, for the last 10 to 15 years.
Definitely.
So I think, we all have our place, in the genre. So I think storytelling could, play its part again.
Yeah. Definitely. Speaking of John Party, I did write this down. I saw that he follows you on Instagram.
Yeah.
I wanted to see, do you guys know each other?
We do, yeah. Me and John have hung out a few times. And, just being, blessed to know the right people in town. I met John through Bart Butler. Bart's a good friend of mine, and also is producer of John Party. But so, I've it's cool. I mean, we just met at Losers Bar downtown Nashville, and where anybody could be. So it's but yeah, it's been a cool experience.
Yeah, that's super cool. I noticed that it said Jon Wood followed by Jon Party. So maybe that's on there. And I was scrolling through like way deep down in your Instagram, and you have a cover of my favorite Jon Party song, which is "She Ain't In It."
Yeah.
Which that's what got me into Jon Party, because when California Sunrise came out, and I think it was 2016. I think "She Ain't In It" was the first song I heard, which was just traditional country, which is like you hear in the mainstream right now. So that really stood out, and I liked it.
Oh yeah, that's I love "She Ain't It." That's probably my, like, if out of like his songs, like top 1, 2, or 3 songs. So it's I'm a big ballad guy, and it's so funny because when I'm out playing a show, if I'm playing covers, it's like last time I had a guy come up, he's like, "Dude, I love your voice. Can you play something upbeat?" And so I've had to learn to stray away from the ballads so much when it comes to playing the bar scene.
Yeah, you gotta have kind of a mix of everything just to please there. Yeah. Which I did want to ask. When you perform, do you mostly do your own stuff, covers, or kind of a mix?
Right now it's more of a mix because I'm playing, more of a longer show. But I do love playing my own stuff. I think every artist has his songs that he hates playing, and some that he loves playing. Not that we necessarily hate the song, but it's more of like there's record songs and there's concert songs. Like there's some songs that I'd rather hear live, or there's some songs I'd rather hear, on the record. So I think I love playing all my songs just because I love showing them off that I wrote them and everything. But when it comes down to it, I love, there's only a few that I truly love to play and, we'll sit down and pick at.
Well, okay. Do you want to walk me through kind of like what's the songwriting process that you go through? Because you said you write a lot of your own songs.
Yeah.
Do you have a traditional process that you kind of walk through, or does it just happen?
Man, it kind of just, it's funny is when I first moved to town, that was the first thing, because I didn't grow up in songwriting. I grew up trying to write, like trying to okay, I got to figure out this process. But, of course you have the whole start with a chorus, find your chorus. But man, there's guys out there that have written #1 songs that had a verse first, and they didn't know what the heck they were doing with the chorus. It's kind of just find that melody. And that's what I love doing. I love finding a good melody and taking it to a good lyricist. And with Justin Weaver, that's kind of been the great combination about us is I know what melodies I want to sing. I know what my songs I want to sound like. I know what I want my songs to sound like. And he knows how to put good words to them. I mean, the dude's written multiple number ones, and have him as a producer and a co-writer on all my songs has been badass.
I saw in his biography he wrote for a couple mainstream acts that were, I can't remember because I read it I think on Friday or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember who, but do you remember who?
Yeah, so he wrote Meghan Trainor and John Legend's hit "Like I'm Gonna Lose You." Okay. That was his like I think is like most well known. He's got Brantley Gilbert's new number one single, "Fired Up." He's got.
That's right. I saw him. That's right. I saw him on the writer's credits for that.
Yeah, and then he's got "After a Few" by I can't remember his name. I feel so bad. But he's got a brand new single on radio. He's got like 2 singles on radio right now. Really? But he grew up with Jason Aldean playing in the band with him and everything. So when they moved up, Jason moved up in '97, I believe it was, and Justin went to college. But Justin, once he finished college, he moved up in 2001, and that was right. I think right before Jason signed his deal, or right after. No, it was right. Yeah, it was right before Jason signed his deal, and
Broken Bow.
Yeah, with Broken Bow, and so Justin kind of stuck around and did his own thing, and he wrote a good song for the first record, and even had some stuff on the second and third record, and man, I think he had stuff on Jason's first 4 records. So, that definitely helped him out a lot. And so it definitely helped him get on his feet. Mm-hmm. But the dude's a genius when it comes to songwriting. So it's awesome.
How did you and him meet and get to working together?
So I had been living in town for 5 months. Moved to town in May of 2018, and that October, he messaged me on Instagram. He found me on Instagram just playing. I was just posting cover videos, and he just sent me a message, sent me a DM, and I didn't know who it was at first, so I kind of looked into it before replying. And when as soon as I Googled his name, it was like written for this guy, this girl, this guy. I was like, well, I better hit him up. Yeah. And so a month goes on after I message him. Haven't heard anything back. I'm like, well, this guy got messaged the wrong guy. He probably thought I was someone else. And then I'm out in Oklahoma playing a show, and I get a call one night, and we sat there, and it was him, and we sat there and talked for 2 hours just about music and about me and where I came from, and it was cool because I just felt like I wasn't talking to someone in the industry. It didn't feel like it was a like an interview or like a trying to see what I could do for him or he could do for me, and it was just more like a let's make music kind of thing. Let's make good music. And so after that, I got back from Oklahoma, and we hung out at his house one night, drank whiskey till 4 o'clock in the morning, smoked cigars, and just had a good time. We really didn't even talk that much about music. I mean, I knew what he had done with everything, and we just kind of talked about the future. But after that, he kind of pulled me into songwriting and pulled me in over at Pure Music. Just introducing me to everybody and getting me in with different co-writers. And March comes around, and it's time to start working on the EP. And we carved out an entire week of the month to just work on that EP. And I slept over at their house and did my daily chores over there to keep the place clean. And we just hung out and wrote songs all week and found these 4 that we loved and made the EP and put it out in June. So.
And this is From Where I'm From, the EP?
Yeah.
What was your favorite song off that one, would you say? Just for fun.
My favorite off the EP was probably Neon Lies. Just because of how 70s country it sounded. I mean, it was super retro, and when we wrote it, it was just like what I had dreamed about writing. I think favorite sounding, though, would probably be Mama's Been Praying.
And that was my favorite one off the EP. I love that song.
Yeah, it's just I think it's kind of timeless. I mean, it's, you know, everybody's mom has someone that they're, you know, wanting them to be with, or, you know, hoping their son or daughter gets to be with someone good. So I think it kind of relates to anybody.
Yeah, I really like that song. I think when I looked you up on Apple Music, I think that was I don't know why. I don't listen straight through. I just kind of click around looks, and then that one immediately just hooked, and I just listened to the rest of it. And then Drop On By came out a few months, almost a year later. What was it?
It was a few months. Yeah. It was about, I think, 5 months later.
5 months later? Okay.
Yeah.
Time scale isn't amazing.
No, yeah. It felt like forever, but you know, just because of writing and picking songs, and I actually didn't even write Drop On By. Drop On By was an old song. I think it was written, I think it's been like 7 years since that song was written. It was written by Craig Wiseman and Justin Weaver a while back. And
were you the first to record it?
Yes, I was the first to record it, but it was actually on hold by Thomas Rhett, which was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
And so to be able to have that, you know, story, that's cool. But
yeah, a fun fact, I learned this the other day. Maybe not. You know Toby Keith, I Want to Talk About Me?
Yeah.
You know that was originally on hold for Blake Shelton's first single?
Really? Wow. That's awesome. I think Toby did it best, though.
I'd love to hear Blake Shelton do that song.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, he did a thing with Pitbull last week, and kind of exploring around on The Voice and whatnot. So I feel like that would just be something fun for him to do.
Yeah.
Just to wrap up, I have a couple fun questions, like 4 or 5 that I just kind of made up that I thought would be fun.
Yeah.
If you could perform with any artist, who would it be? Just mainstream, if you could do a show with them.
Wow. I mean, just dreaming here, probably be George Strait. If I could open up for anybody or something, it'd be George Strait.
That'd be a good one. I missed out on seeing him. I live in Kansas City. He came to the Sprint Center a couple weekends ago. I missed out on that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was crazy. That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
I've never seen George Strait live, but that's always been you know, a dream of mine. So.
Yeah, I saw videos. A bunch of my friends were there. They said he was really, really good. So I'm always gonna be kicking myself for missing that.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. I like this one. What advice would you give to your younger self when you first moved out to Nashville?
Patience. Patience, and there is no right way to do anything in this town. I mean, you know, I would say to never miss out on like an interview, never miss out on a hangout with anybody. But don't think that you're doing something incorrect or you're doing something right, or someone else is doing something, you know, that you're not. I think just give it your all, and you give it to your best potential, and that's really all. I mean, there's no, like, everybody called, like, when I first moved to town, everybody called it a 10-year town.
I've heard that. Yep.
And I think that's BS, and I still think it's BS because it's not. It's really not. It's all in who you know. It's And that doesn't mean, you come to town, you become friends with, the head of, Broken Bow Records or Capitol Records. It's you find a team and who believes in you, and that's who pulls you to the top. Because no one got there by themselves. No one got there because they sang the best. No one got there because they sang the highest or the highest note or they sang the lowest note. It's really about good songs, good music, and who likes you. So just be a good person, be a likable person, and I think don't tell anybody what you're gonna do until you've done it, kind of thing. So, if someone asks about music coming out, tell them, about it, but don't go bragging on yourself. I think stay humble in this town is the best thing you can do.
That's good. And then I've only been to Nashville, I think, 2 or 3 times, so I'm not like, perfect with everywhere. But do you have like a place like you are kind of a regular performer at, or you kind of jump around, or?
Yeah, I play over at the Nashville Palace.
Okay.
Pretty often. Last year was a little bit more often than normally, but the Nashville Palace is out near the Grand Ole Opry, and it's where Randy Travis used to be a cook back in the day. And
really?
Funny thing, is either a cook or a dishwasher, but funny thing is I heard a rumor that he signed his record deal, and right after he signed his record deal, he took pictures and everything and went right back to the Nashville Palace to cook or wash the dishes or something. But he finished his shift and kept working until, he got on the road and money started coming in. But that's a pretty cool story.
That's kind of an example of the humble thing we were talking about there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you have any upcoming shows that, or you'd like to announce or talk about or anything?
Yeah, I have I don't think I would get in trouble for saying this, but I'm playing Whiskey Jam in next Thursday, so the 27th.
Oh, really?
Of February, but it's 2 days after my birthday. I thought my birthday was going to land on at least, one of the Whiskey Jams, but it didn't, so I'm doing it kind of as like a birthday jam for me.
Happy birthday.
What's that?
Happy early birthday.
Oh, yeah, thank you. But,
all right.
So it should be good. I'm having a lot of friends out and having some friends play with me, and I've even got my dad and my brother flying out to play drums, and my dad is on keys and everything. So
really, is that what your dad? When your dad was playing in Nashville, was he a keyboard player?
Yeah.
So he really took after Ronnie Millsap, huh?
Oh yeah, completely.
Okay. All right. Well, that was pretty much what I had written down. Thank you very much for doing this. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna end the recording here.